Please welcome Corporate Vice President, Business Applications and Platforms, Charles Lamanna.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us in this session about the Power Platform here at Build. I hope it's been a wonderful day and a half. Lots of AI topics, lots of co-pilots, and I think lots of excitement. And I'm glad that we get this chance to come together and really explore what all of that means to the Power Platform. Power Platform is Microsoft's low-code development offering, and if you've used some, you've probably used the experience that applies to all of them. Power BI for analytics and reporting and visualization of your data, Power Apps for web and mobile application development, Power Automate for workflow and robotic process automation, Power Virtual Agent for chatbots and conversational experiences, and Power Pages for business websites. All of these have great visual experiences and low-code, no ways to build your solution, but also, that doesn't mean no code. You can drop in and write JavaScript and TypeScript and more as you need to go build out your solution. And this is a really important thing that we talked about a lot at Build this year, is that developers are welcome in the Power Platform. No matter where you come from a data platform background or an app dev background or an AI background, you can use a Power Platform to create amazing solutions. If we look at Dataverse, which is the low-code data platform built into the Power Platform, it's easy to store and manage your relational data, your structured data, your unstructured data, and expose it inside of Power Apps, Power BI, and more. We also have AI Builder, which is a low-code way to mix in AI capabilities and AI models right into the solutions that you build. So all that great stuff that you've seen from Azure Machine Learning and Azure Cognitive Services, it's exposed in a low-code way inside the Power Platform. There's also Power Effects, so a really easy to use low-code expression language, much like Excel, to do logic and calculations and mathematics, which you can use before you jump all the way into writing code. So all of this combines to an incredibly powerful set of functionality, which helps developers build amazing solutions. And one of the great things about doing this in person again is I can ask this question and say, who here has used the Power Platform before? You could raise your hand. Awesome. Yeah, for the record, for folks watching, just about everybody raised their hand. So I'd say what's amazing about that is just how many developers and how many people are using the Power Platform to create amazing solutions. Just last month, we shared for the first time that there's over 33 million monthly active users in the Power Platform. Developers just like all of you. Yeah. It's a huge set of creators, of builders who are using these tools as well as with their developer capabilities and skills to create amazing solutions. And this is across hundreds of thousands of organizations in just about every country and just about every industry. And the stat I like most when I'm at Build is that 25% of the makers and builders in the Power Platform are professional developers. That's people who are building custom visuals, custom controls, calling Azure API services, registering their backend systems. They're using pro dev capabilities inside the Power Platform. They use Power Platform to be better developers, more efficient developers. And that's something that we're really excited about, and we've been talking about for a few years, and it's really reached mainstream, this idea of the Power Platform extending your developer potential. And we use that word extend very deliberately, because it's not replacing other dev skills that you all have. It's just making you able to do more with the developer capabilities and investments you've already made. So just like that, you can easily use low-code capabilities to go build things faster. And if we go look at that full tool chain, what that modern dev tool chain really looks like, it's a whole bunch of services coming together. You have GitHub for source control and CI/CD, Azure to host your code and your services and your backend data platforms, Visual Studio for your IDE, and extended with the Power Platform to build solutions. All four of these come together to move faster, to be more efficient, to create amazing solutions. And when we really think about what all of this translates to for our customers, it means that sometimes you use Power Platform, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you use Azure, sometimes you don't. You use the right tool for the job. And what this has meant is a very rapid transformation in how enterprise app development is done. We are sitting at the midpoint of the low-code shift, the low-code revolution. By 2026, 75% of enterprise app development will be done with low-code tools like the Power Platform. That's up from just under 25% a few years ago. So from a small minority to the supermajority of solutions being built with these low-code tools. And this transition is happening at an incredible pace and speed. I remember 10 years ago when I worked in Azure, the pace of moving to the cloud, that has been a long journey to flip the majority of app dev to the cloud. The low-code shift is going to happen in 5-6 years, and we're right in the middle of it. And what's great today is we're going to see how AI and dev capabilities can make the Power Platform more productive, but even more exciting, we're going to have 4 live demos showing all these new announcements that we had at Build in action. So a lot of great capabilities to go stretch your time and make you more efficient. And of course, it wouldn't be Build 2023 without talking about a Copilot, so you'll forgive me. But low-code also has a Copilot. So just like you saw for GitHub Copilot or Microsoft 365 Copilot, there's the same set of AI-powered developer augmentation capabilities right inside the Power Platform. So you can very easily use AI to create new content, to perfect your design and experience, to transform the overall flow inside of an application, or even start to automate tasks. All of that is possible with Copilot. And it makes it so that if you mix and match with the low-code visual designing and some other code aspects, you can build amazing solutions faster than ever before. And that's something you'll hear over and over again over the next 35 minutes or so: speed, agility, rapid development. And that's what gets us really excited, because by being faster, we spend less time doing the mundane, boring parts of the job. We let the AI take care of that. We let the visual designer take care of that. We let the data connectors take care of that. Spend more time on the exciting parts of what it means to be a developer. So for the first demo, we're going to be looking at Power Apps Copilot. Back in March, we announced the first version of Power Apps Copilot, which made it so you could use natural language to design data schema inside of Dataverse and start to create an entire working application with multiple screens over that data source. We've now continued to extend and enrich that Copilot, so now you can have an AI-assisted experience to go from an existing data set, like an Excel file, directly into a working Power App. And I think I can speak for all developers everywhere. You have a slight nightmare when someone comes to you and says, here's an Excel spreadsheet, convert this into an app. Instead of having to go recreate it, you can have Copilot and AI help you. So to show that in action, I'm going to invite Sherry onto the stage. Sherry is an engineering manager on Power Apps, so not only is she going to demo it, she's also helped build all of this. So take it away, Sherry.
Thank you, Charles. Hello, everybody. I'm sure some of you out here have created Excel spreadsheets to track something. And over time, this file has gotten bigger and bigger. And before you know it, your team or your company would fall apart if anything happened to that file. Well, being the amazing developers that you are, I am sure that you wish you could manage it better by turning it into an app and a database. Well, today I'm here to show you how, with the power of Copilot and low code, Power Apps can make your dreams a reality. I have a spreadsheet here used by a bank to track customer support tickets. Let's go turn this into an app. I start in the Power Apps Maker portal, where there is a clear and simple experience to get started. I choose Start with Data. And I go ahead and upload my Excel file. While this is happening, Copilot is analyzing the file and using AI to determine a Dataverse table schema that best matches the data in the file. Dataverse is the low-code solution included with the Power Platform. Now, it's done. So Copilot is done, so I can go ahead and make changes if I would like. So I'm not a fan of the table name, so I'm just going to go ahead and modify that. I can also update the columns, but I'm just going to go ahead and do this and create the app. Now, this takes a minute or so I'm just going to jump ahead to an app that I have already pre-created. Copilot used that Dataverse table schema we created earlier to generate this app. The app is connected to data. It is beautiful, and it is responsive. It is way better than anything I could have done in this short amount of time. In fact, I would still be choosing which JavaScript framework to use at this very moment. So this app allows me to manage individual tickets, but I actually need to ask questions about the data to understand patterns. So Power Apps has an answer for you too. We can drop a Copilot into the app. We can connect it, I can connect it then to the Dataverse table I just created, and my app is now intelligent. The intelligence is backed by Dataverse's enterprise-grade security and privacy. This is one less thing for me to worry about. Let's give Copilot a try. I can simply ask it, what categories of tickets are unresolved? Copilot is able to understand me, and its answers will help me find out which of my departments need more help in resolving customer complaints. Now, I just showed you how with the power of Copilot and low-code, I was able to transform my Excel-based app into a beautiful, connected, and intelligent app in the matter of minutes. You can too. Back to you, Charles.
Thank you. And every time I see that demo, I see something new that gets me super excited. So Copilot helping guide you through building an app, the ability to have responsive designs in Canvas apps. I think that's probably the most upvoted Power Apps idea. And then the ability to have Copilot right inside of that very app that you built. But one of the things the demo shows, which is a little more subtle, is just how easy it is to connect the Power Platform to your existing data estate. In the Power Platform, we have over 1,000 data connectors to Salesforce, to SAP, to Oracle databases, even to AS400 system. All of it can be connected inside of the Power Platform. That makes it easy to build a solution without having to spend your time integrating and moving and configuring and securing data. You can very easily get started. And this is one of the things that I hear from developers who use the Power Platform as a big plus, is the fact that you don't have to worry about your existing IT estate. And it's this idea of, instead of being worried about a brownfield environment, you can have greenfield development speed. So a lot of great things there. Now, in addition to all of that amazing Copilot and visual design experience, there's also a lot of capabilities in the Power Platform for coders. You can easily go configure things like CI/CD using GitHub, so you can follow your standard software development lifecycle. That means deploying to pre-production, user acceptance testing, automation testing, and more. Additionally, you can always escape the low-code environment and write code as needed. You want a custom controller or custom visual using React and TypeScript? You can do that and register it in the Power Platform. Or if you want to go connect to a microservice running in a Kubernetes cluster hosted in Azure, you can do that too. And that ability to go from low code to pro code is why developers can reach for Power Platform first and then fall back and use code as needed. The third piece is really this idea that you can always find ways to extend and around the Power Platform, whether that's inside of other Azure services or inside of Office and Microsoft 365 services. Like, for example, you can integrate Power Platform connectors in Microsoft 365 Copilot, even the custom connectors you built. And last but not least, although you're using a low-code environment, you don't have to compromise when it comes to native app capabilities. So things like QR code scanning, camera, GPS, and more, you can use all of that inside the Power Platform. So a lot of great capabilities out there for coders that want to start and use low code as part of the developer tool chain. And for all of this, seeing is believing. I know developers are a skeptical group, so we want to make sure that in this next demo, we're going to walk through a bunch of these great capabilities to really show you how you can use those pro dev and code first approaches in the Power Platform. So I'm going to invite Karthik on the stage, who's going to run through all this great capabilities and show a modern dev tool chain on the Power Platform.
Thank you, Charles. Hey, everyone. All right. So we're going to go right into it, right? So here we are right in our GitHub environment, all right? And this is our favorite page here, which is, everything's there. Now, what we're going to do is, just like any other DevOps manager, I'm going to go ahead and create a release, okay? And the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to go ahead and click on Releases, all right? And I've gone ahead and initiated a bunch of things right before I got on stage, so sorry. All right, but what's actually happening here is I've got actions, and while creating this release, it's in the process of taking that low-code application that Sherry just built from Excel and persisting that directly into my Git repository, okay? So let's look into that a little bit more deeper. I'll go back into my code view, and what I'm going to do now is move over to a new tab, which has got my CodeSpace set up. And CodeSpace is obviously an IDE, a full-blown IDE that is built on top of the GitHub file system, or the GitHub repository in this case. Now, within that, as you can see, I'm launching up everything else. Now, while that's launching up, let's go ahead and look at exactly what our workflow does here. So here, I've got my workflow set up. And again, I have two things that are actually happening. And these are, again, YAML files, all right? And what you have here is essentially tasks. So we have native tasks available within GitHub to go ahead and extract artifacts from Power Platform, move it from dev to test to prod, as the case may be, and move it along in that conjunction, and also automate, if you will, some of our testing capabilities, as it were. So let's go back into our CodeSpace instance. And one of the things you'll notice is when I've extracted the artifact, or in this case, the app, and if I go into the Canvas app, I can also unpack it and actually see the actual screen that Sherry just built using Copilot. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention, that workflow that I was showing you before, that can also be used, you can also use Copilot to actually generate that workflow itself for being able to extract artifacts directly out of the dev environment, as it were. So, going forward in that context, now we'll go ahead and look at, so you saw the actual file there. And here, as you can see, if I want to find out exactly what was the Copilot effort here, I can scroll down, look at all the different containers, as the case may be. Now let's go check where the deployment's standing. So let me go back over here and look at the action. And here it tells me that the deployment's already happened. So let's go look at that exactly, what's happened here. So as you can see here, it's imported the solution. Now, one thing I also want to know is that I don't want my QA team to go ahead and create net new data, all right? So what I've also gone ahead and done in my build process is actually imported all the data that came in from that Excel spreadsheet and put that directly into my QA environment so my QA team can get started right away, okay? So now let's go look into our QA environment here. So here in my QA environment, I have the bank support tickets app, and I'm going to go into that particular solution. And when I see that, I see both the data table and the app showing up right here in my test environment as is. What I'm now going to go do is actually share this with my QA team, because I want to make sure only the right set of folks are actually working on this particular app. So I'll go ahead and share. And since I'm also the DevOps manager, I'm going to go assign it to myself and the bug bash team. That's what we call our QA teams, all right? We call them bug bashers, all right? So I've assigned it to them. And what I'm now just going to go do is play it up. So what you've now just witnessed is I've taken an artifact, or in this case the app, the Copilot built app, from my dev environment, persisted that into my GitHub repository, and then deployed that directly into my QA environment, all right? All in one shot. And now my QA team can just go ahead and do that. So, I mean, wow. All right, how about the fact that we can actually take something from concept, go ahead and design it, build it, and then deploy it just like that. With that, Charles, back to you.
Thank you, Karthik. And I think a Power Platform demo with YAML files is probably one of my favorite ones out there right now. And as we go look across those first two demos, what it's really showing is this idea of low-code, AI, and developers being able to work together to produce something incredibly amazing and incredibly quickly. Like if you look at it, you start with Copilot to build the app. There's Copilot embedded in the application. You have visual design elements, but you still can get that source control and that CI/CD. You don't have to compromise on it. And kind of this idea of all of these things coming together really is what is propelling, we think, the next wave of enterprise application development. We're going to see thousands or tens of thousands of apps and workflows in every large company and every small company, maybe not that many, but still a lot, being built on top of this type of tool chain. And the reason is because you can spend more time building logic and value and less time wiring things up. more time getting work done and less time, say, gathering requirements or experimenting with frameworks or design languages. And this idea lets us really stay focused on what we're trying to build or create. Because at the end of the day, I love technology. I think if you're at the Build conference, you love technology, but you're building for a purpose. And this helps you get to that purpose a heck of a lot faster. Now, if we take a second and look deeper into the AI element, the Power Platform Copilot is a journey we've been on for a few years now. We launched the first Copilot capabilities back in 2021. And we did that actually at the Build conference, which was virtual then, where we talked about this natural language to Power Apps, FX expressions, as well as natural language to DAX. And that was built on top of GPT-3, not even 3.5 or 4. And we were able to get some really exciting usage and value out of that capability. Then last year, we launched a couple more capabilities, the big one being natural language to cloud flows in Power Automate. And then this year, in 2023, a whole bunch of great capabilities across every part of the Power Platform. Power Pages, Power Virtual Agent, Power Automate, Power Apps, Power BI. A whole bunch of amazing AI capabilities to make it easier to get started and easier to build an app or solution exactly the way you want it. And kind of this transition, this idea of gradual Copilot and then all at once a whole bunch of Copilot has been our hope and dream for quite some time. And yesterday, you kind of heard a lot of the references in the keynotes talking about this idea of, oh, it's not like we queued up a bunch of announcements for Copilot in January of this year, but it's something we've been working on. You kind of see the beginnings of all of those improvements and investments over the last couple of years. And the thing I'm most excited about is the value our customers and users get out of this. And the numbers show Copilot is game-changing. Over 36,000 organizations are already using the Power Platform Copilot capabilities. This is a huge set of adoption and a huge set of early users that are getting value from AI as part of their normal Power Platform workflow. And it's this idea of mixing and matching low-code AI and devs to create amazing solutions that Power Platform has kind of evolved into. In the beginning, it was just low-code and devs, but now it's low-code AI and devs, so low-code Copilot and developer resources. So a lot of great capabilities there. Now, if we look at the Copilot functionality, we have Copilots for all parts of the Power Platform family now. And the area that we announced last November at Ignite was Power Automate Copilot. And what's amazing about that, as the first big Copilot in the Power Platform, is that it's allowed Power Automate users to build workflows 50% faster and with 70% less errors. It's rare where you get a faster and better combo in a V1. And that's why we've been so excited and furiously paddling to build all the different Power Platform Copilots over the last 6 months or so. And at Build, the big news has been the Power BI and Power Pages Copilots to really round it out. So just like how you can get used to that visual design, that expression, you know, the Excel and PowerPoint had a baby Power Platform type experience, you can now get used to that Copilot in Power Platform experience. Because if you're looking for an option or a button or a setting, it'll be there just right on the right-hand side. You can find it by talking to AI. Really a whole new way of building solutions. So for this next demo, we're going to be looking at Power Pages Copilot in more depth. And for folks that haven't used Power Pages before, it's the easiest way to get a business website stood up with security, with a data backend, with workflows and applications that employees can use. And Copilot makes it so you can generate content, design forms, style your experiences, and build entire websites using natural language. And all of this is built inside that beautiful visual designer you already know and love from Power Pages. And just like all the other stuff, it's really best seen in action. So for this next one, I'm going to invite Bobby onto stage, and he's really going to show us how you can use Power Pages Copilot to build amazing solutions faster than ever. Bobby, take it away.
Thanks, Charles. So hi, everyone. So today I'm going to show you how I can use Copilot to update a website that I built using Power Pages. And as Charles mentioned, it's our business application development platform. And I'm going to use this example of Woodgrove Bank. Now, Woodgrove Bank are in the process of rolling out a new student loans program, and they want to update their website with a brand new page, and they want to reach out to new customers. So let's start right here in our low-code design studio. And over here on the right, we've added a Copilot window where Copilot is always available and ready to assist me. So I'm going to just zoom in for you guys and just ask Copilot to create a product page for a student loan page, for application. Okay? Now, while this is often being busy in the background, let me explain what's going on. So as a Power Pages developer, I've always had the option to use HTML and CSS and use the embedded VS Code experience to start my coding, or I could have used the low-code WYSIWYG Design Studio like you can see here. And now that we've added Copilot, I can do the same things and get the same results. So we're querying the language model here to find me a layout that suits my scenario. Now, when this completes and returns, what you will see that it will return HTML and CSS tailored for my scenario. It will be fully responsive and it will be accessible. And whilst this is generative AI, you will still be able to update all of this markup and CSS using the embedded VS Code experience. And now finally, Power Pages will automatically add context-relevant images to my scenario, which you can also change at a later point. So here we go. As you saw, it returned pretty quickly. That is a page that created purely using Copilot. Thank you. Okay, so now I want to add some text to this page. I actually want to make it a little bit more informative to the users who are arriving, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a text component. And here we have a new Copilot option, and if I click that, we get this in-context Copilot experience. Now, I'm a dev, and this is where I would usually have a creative block if someone came to me and said, hey, just add some text to make the page more better. So I would normally grab lorem ipsum, right? That's kind of getting a bit long in the tooth. So I'm going to ask Copilot to assist me here. So I'm going to ask Copilot to give me an overview of student loans offered by Woodgrove Bank. Okay, so again, we're off querying the language model with my scenario, and it's going to return me something immediately, which is some suggested text, which I could go add here. Now, below the suggestion returned, I have some options. I can choose to rewrite. I can choose to adjust the length, make it shorter, make it longer. But for this one, I'm actually going to change the tone. So I want to actually make it a little bit more professional. So again, we're going to apply that context to the language query, and here you'll see immediately it returns something which a little bit more professional. I like this now, so I'm going to add it to my page. I simply just click here, and here it is in my page. Okay. So now the next thing I want to do with this page is actually add a form so I can capture my applicant's details. So again, I'm going to add a new component, which is a form component. So here I select form. Now, again, we have this brand new in-context Copilot window. Here's where I can just use natural language to describe the form that I want. So this time I'm going to ask Copilot to create me a student loan application form. Okay, now in the background, traditionally when we build forms, it's quite a lengthy process. We have to do some research, we do some design work, and we do a lot of data modeling, largely before we reach the engineering stage. This is doing it all for you. It's doing your research, it's doing your modeling, it's doing everything, and it will return you a form suitable for your scenario. So over here on the right, you'll see the preview of the form that Copilot has generated, including some sample data. If I'm not too happy with this form, I want to make some changes, I can go over here to the left, and Copilot has returned me some suggestions. I could choose to use those and modify my form right here in this experience. I'm actually quite happy with this. So I'm just going to say, OK, and what this is going to do is add this to my page. Now, in the background, as you know, creating HTML forms isn't actually a difficult process, but it can take some time. But actually connecting HTML forms to secure data stores is actually a lengthy process. Lots of workflow, lots of clicks, etc. What we are doing, we're doing all of that work for you. So right now in the background, what's happening is we are actually creating all of your Dataverse assets and entities and your system forms, as well as updating your Pages site with the form that you will see in the Design Studio, as well as the end user experience. Now, this can take a couple of minutes, so I'm going to jump to one that I created just before I came out here, so you guys can see the end result. And so when that dialog returns, you will see a form that looks like this. Now, this is fully connected to Dataverse at this point, and in theory, it's ready to ship. But it looks quite plain. And I think if I was to speak to my design team, they would say, hey, Bob, is there something you can do here that would make this look better? So, yes, there is, and Copilot can help with that. So I'm going to go over here back to our right pane Copilot experience and ask Copilot to generate CSS for this form. All right, what this is doing is it's looking at that form and extracting the CSS classes for you, and it will allow me to edit those using the embedded VS Code experience. And immediately, as you see on the right, Copilot returns and says, hey, you're ready to edit the code. How do I do this? Well, I can use the edit code option now for this page. Now, this will launch the embedded VS Code experience. I love this because these are the same toolings that I use on my desktop. But I'm right here in the browser doing exactly the same thing I would do every day. And here you're seeing the markup that Copilot returned for you. What I'm actually interested in is the CSS. So here are the CSS classes that Copilot generated for you, ready for you to fill in. Of course, I have created some styles earlier that I'm just going to grab and paste right in here like that. And I would need to save this file. And I will need to go back to the studio. And here I'm going to press sync. Now, what's happening here is we are updating the data store with all of my CSS content, and we're updating the design studio, so I'm ready to see this in my preview window too. And here we return with my updated form with all the styles I just put in. OK, thank you very much.
Thanks, Bobby. Appreciate it. And I think for folks that don't know, Bobby also is an engineering leader. So his team builds all the stuff, and they also can demo it. So super amazing work in a very short period of time. And what that demo really highlights, which I get excited about, is that continuous progression from Copilot, natural language, to low code, visual designers, to pro code, and the ability to actually drop into VS Code and change CSS, HTML, JavaScript, and more. And that kind of broad spectrum is why you can really get going fast and not have to surrender control. So we really view this as a combination of lots of different things coming together, all aimed with making websites, making apps, understanding your data, automating tasks easier than ever before. Now, we've seen a lot about Copilot in the Power Platform, but I do want to kind of do one reminder, which is generative AI is not just about Copilots. It's also about how you can use it in your solutions to summarize text, classify text, generate exciting images, and even in the future, audio and video. It also shows up throughout all of the solutions that you build. So inside of your Power App, you can call the OpenAI endpoint on text or generating text. Additionally, inside of Power Automate, you can have your workflow call out to OpenAI using AI Builder to analyze the text the same way. Or in Power Automate Desktop, if you're building a robotic process automation or RPA, you can also use OpenAI. Or in Power Pages, if you're building content or creating workflows there, you can do all of that with OpenAI as well. Or even in Dataverse. If you want to make your columns and tables smarter and richer, you can also mix in OpenAI. And last but not least, Power Virtual Agent. And I know that is a lot. Tried to fit it in a very short period of time, but there is just a lot of ways where the solutions you build can be more intelligent and more capable and more robust because you are able to call the OpenAI models and use them inside the Power Platform. And that's the idea. It changes how we build, but also changes what we build. Now, a couple months ago, we announced an example of this, something called Generative Answers. It makes it easy for you to create a Power Virtual Agent chatbot or conversation experience from your existing content and data assets, files, SharePoint sites, web pages, and more. You just upload all of it, and then we figure out how to pair it with the large language model to give you a ChatGPT-like experience built on your data. And this is something you can do in just a matter of minutes. And this has been a really great example of how changing what you build is going to fundamentally happen because of these large language models and foundation models. And one of the great examples out there is with HP. HP is one of the largest Power Virtual Agent users in the world. And they use Power Virtual Agent to respond to customer queries and questions and support requests in an automated way. And they've been able to go experiment with generative answers inside of that chatbot to expand the set of topics they have. Because normally when you build a chatbot, you have to drag and drop every single dialogue flow. every single topic. But with generative answers, you can get an infinite number of topics and answers based on your existing content. And it's all your data and your information, never shared and never reused to train the model. And what HP has said is really this is the beginning of a bigger journey to explore the potential of GPT and other large language models. But the most exciting part of this to me is the fact that it's happening now. This AI revolution, this platform shift that Satya talked about yesterday, it's not something that's 6 months from now, 2 years from now. It's something happening right now. Companies, big and small, are already taking these capabilities and applying them in production to get value, to do interesting and disruptive things. And at Build, we took generative answers to the next level, something called generative actions. And I'm a little bit biased, but I would say this is my favorite announcement at Build this year. Because what it lets you do is it lets you take connectors and plugins and actions that you build to your internal systems and register them with Power Virtual Agent. And then the generative AI will actually figure out parameter collection and when to execute those actions to satisfy requests and replies. So if you want your own ChatGPT plus plugins or Microsoft 365 Copilot plus plugins experience, if you want to build that for yourself, you can do it with Power Virtual Agent in just a couple of weeks. And instead of having just read-only content or only 100 hard-coded topics and dialogues, you can have thousands or millions of potential dialogues and topics and answers. It's really a game-changing set of capabilities. And one of the best ways to always look at something like this is how it's being applied today. Like I said, it's happening now. The revolution is now. So Holland America Line is a cruise ship company, and they support hundreds of thousands of requests every single month on their customer service channel, and every request costs about $8 or $10. So that's the cost of a person picking up the phone and answering. And they're looking at using generative actions and generative answers to have Power Virtual Agent satisfying self-service requests and questions for pennies per request. So it's an always available contact center, always able to take actions for the users, and able to deliver a wonderful experience. And this is something that I can't wait to invite Kendra on stage to go through and show what's possible, what they've built, and even more importantly, how they built it. Take it away, Kendra.
Thank you so much, Charles. Hey, everyone. Bots typically do two things: answer questions and complete tasks for their users. And I am so excited to show you how with generative AI and Power Virtual Agents, we can enable them to do both without manually authoring a single conversation, which can result in some pretty amazing bot experiences like this one. Roll the tape. We'll jump ahead. We were going to show you the cake, and then we were going to show you how we were going to make the cake, but we're just going to wait to unveil the cake till the very end. So we're going to jump ahead. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and show you just how easily it is to get started building the bots that Charles spoke about with generative answers. So from right here within the AI capabilities page, I can easily point my bot to a number of different knowledge sources, such as the Holland America website or other internal proprietary knowledge sources like Agent Manual or SharePoint. I can also control how the bot behaves within the advanced AI configuration settings. And with just a few clicks, my bot is immediately able to have rich conversations over these data sources. So this will be my first cruise, and I'm not really sure which travel documents I need to bring with me. And just like that, I'm able to see exactly which documents I need to board the cruise, as well as some helpful links to where I can find this information on the website. Better yet, though, these conversations can now have multiple turns while maintaining the conversation context. And if I wanted to, I could go ahead and publish this bot to my website or a number of other channels such as Facebook or Teams. We know, though, that simply providing information is not enough when our customers are coming to our bots for help. We also need to be able to take action on their behalf. For example, retrieving a reservation status by calling a backend API. Now, typically, you would need to build every single one of these topics within Power Virtual Agent's state-of-the-art low-code authoring canvas, which just went GA yesterday. And this is assisted with Copilot, of course. But with the new GPT-powered conversation engine, this process can be entirely transformed. Your bot now has a library of different plugins that function like Lego blocks that it can self-assemble in order to fulfill the user's request. And where any required information is missing, it can actually generate the question to gather this from the customer. These plugins include enterprise APIs or any of the thousands of pre-built Power Platform connectors. They include Power Automate flows, and of course, bot topics. So if you have actually built a bot, and you're sitting in the audience right now, and you have spent months and months testing and refining and iterating and testing again and writing lines and lines of code, I know that this sounds like a fairy tale, but it's not, and I'm going to show you. So remember, all I've done is point my bot to a couple of Holland America APIs and added one pre-built weather connector. I have built no manual topics by hand. Now, in order to get started testing, so you can see this in action, I'm going to go ahead and open up our new tracing mode so you can see these plugins automatically chain together in real time and follow the conversation in the test chat on the left. Now, I'm curious, what last-minute cruise options are available to the Bahamas next week, and what's the weather there like right now? I'm a habitual overpacker, so I'm really hoping this can help me. Sometimes hitting enter is the hardest part of these demos. And just like that, GPT is able to parse my requests and understand that it can fulfill it with the combination of a call to a reservation system with a custom connector action plugin and a pre-built weather connector plugin. And again, throughout this, thank you. I was gonna signal the applause later, but I love the enthusiasm. So yes, keep it going. It only gets better. Along the way, you're able to follow the system's thoughts and observations to understand how the large language model decided what to do next. Now, the bot was able to identify the input for destination and time were fulfilled and return the weather portion of the question here. Remember, I built no what is the weather topic, right? It also recognized that the departure port required input to be able to return the cruise options is missing and actually generated that question to gather the information from me. So I think I'll depart from Miami. And amazingly, it extracted the entity Miami to fill the missing input slot and execute the call to the reservation system to provide last-minute cruises from Miami to the Bahamas next week. This is where you applaud. Now that was pretty awesome, but I don't know about you. This Rotterdam ship or cruise looks pretty incredible. And I am really excited to learn about what cabin options they have available. Again, GPT parses my request and understands that it can fulfill it with another custom connector action plugin and automatically chains it up to continue the conversation to return for me the cabin options for the Rotterdam cruise. All we did was give our bot access to a set of existing APIs and plugins. We built no manual topics by hand. The bot was able to self-assemble and chain together a combination of actions and APIs in order to fulfill the requests. And where any information was missing, it actually generated the questions to gather that information from me. Between this and chatting over company-specific information, we know this is going to revolutionize bot building as we know it. As for me, though, I'm off to the Bahamas. Back to you, Charles.
Thank you, Kendra. And as you can see, really, bot building is never going to be the same. I've been in conversational AI and chat experiences for a while now, and this is the biggest shift we've ever seen in the last 20 years, really since this even became a concept in a space people wanted to build things. So I know it's been a lot of content in the last 45 minutes, so just a very quick recap. Amazing Power Apps Copilot capabilities from data and inside of the Power Apps that you build. Amazing CI/CD and pro dev integrations, so you don't have to give up on the software development lifecycle if you use the Power Platform. Power Pages Copilot, so you can build websites that are AI-powered and AI-enabled in minutes. And Power Virtual Agent, to create your own ChatGPT on your own data, on your own actions, and your own plugins. And as developers, I know we all like to build, so if you want to get started, go to aka.ms/low-code and start creating solutions. And if you want to learn more, we've had over 15 sessions at Build this year about the Power Platform. You can check them out on demand, stop by our booth, or just join the other sessions that are still left. And if that's still not enough, and you want to get even more Power Platform conference or content, we have the Power Platform Conference coming this fall. It's a conference 100% dedicated to the Power Platform. 8,000 of your closest Power Platform friends, and we're going to have hundreds of sessions from beginner to expert all in one place in an action-packed 3 days. So with that, we're out of time, so I want to say thank you. Thank you for sticking through the session. Thank you for being the best community in tech. And thank you for letting me talk about Copilots for another 45 minutes. Have a great rest of Build. See everybody around.